If you're just getting started in home studio music production, you might be wondering what the best DAW for beginners is or what's the easiest DAW. And these are two questions that come up quite often on my channel. The problem is there isn't one simple answer because what's best for me or easiest for me may not be the best or easiest for you. But there is a best DAW for you and there is an easiest DAW for you, and that's what I'm going to help you find in this video. So I'm going to go over about 8 pieces of music making software. I'll tell you a little bit about each one, who it might appeal to, like what type of music you make or what you plan on doing with it. And then at the end of the video, I'll give you some advice on how to select the best DAW for you and what might be the easiest one for you. And you may not like the answer to that. But now I'm going to look at a few programs that might appeal to you if you plan on making EDM, like electronic styles of music, beat making, and that sort of thing. But these can be good for other styles of music as well. So be sure to stick around. And the first one is FL Studio. FL Studio comes with a large variety of excellent quality effects and instruments to help get you started, and working with virtual instruments and MIDI in FL is super easy, and that's really where FL excels. The workflow in FL Studio is pretty different compared to the more traditional recording programs, and audio recording can be done in FL Studio, but again, the approach to recording is slightly different, and in my opinion, it's one of the more frustrating parts of FL Studio. But if you're a beat creator, electronic music creator, or solo musician, FL Studio might be the best choice for you. You can quickly come up with beats or backing tracks in FL Studio's piano roll, and like I said earlier, it includes all of those excellent effects and instruments, plus you can also add third-party VST plugins, which are effects and instruments made by other developers. You can grab a fully unlocked free trial from their website, and it doesn't have any time limitations. The only limitation is that you can't open any projects that you've saved until you purchase a license. And if you do purchase a license, you get lifetime free updates. So buy it once and you'll never need to purchase again. You'll always have the latest version. FL Studio is available on Windows and Mac with prices starting at $99, but I would recommend going with the $199 Producer Edition as it doesn't have the same limitations as the Fruity Edition. Now, another music making program that really excels at electronic styles of music is Ableton Live. Now, I say this is excellent for electronic styles, which it is, but it can also be great for rock, pop, and country, things like that, as it kind of has a dual personality. In the session view, Ableton Live allows you to make music through performance. You load loops, samples, and MIDI into the clip launcher, and then you can record your performance as you go through and launch the various clips. If there's something you want to add in later or change out, you can easily do that in the arrangement view. And this is where Ableton Live can behave more like a traditional DAW. Record your guitars, drums, and the whole band in there, edit and move your clips around as needed, and you can also access the piano roll easily to program your own virtual instruments, and depending on the version of Ableton Live that you get, it can come with a lot of effects and instruments, and they're all great. And you can also bring in any third-party VST plugins that you might purchase or find for free. Ableton Live can be great for beat creators and EDM musicians, but its dual personality makes it great for any genre of music. It has a modern workflow to it that you may enjoy, and you can download the completely unlocked free trial and use it for 90 days, which is tons of time to test it out and even create an album or EP or several singles. Ableton Live is available on Mac or Windows with a starting price of $99, and the intro version can be a good starting point here. Now, another DAW that can be great for beginners in EDM and beat creation, but can also be useful in other types of music as well, is Magix Music Maker. And what makes this a good choice for beginners is that it comes with these sound pools, plus you can add more of them to it later. And these are like loop packs. Each sound pool features instruments and sound loops that all work together, but of course you can mix and match things from other sound pools as well, so you don't have to stick within the same one. You can just quickly drag and drop the sound into the timeline and start making a beat or a song. It's also fairly easy to start recording audio into it as well, so you can start to make these tracks your own. And then if you get one of the pro versions, it even comes with an auto song generator. You can select the style that you want, pick out a few sound pools to use, and what sections of the song you want to include, like verse, chorus, bridge, that sort of thing, and then it's going to auto-generate the song for you. And I would like to think that you're going to use this as a starting point or use it to practice mixing tracks on and getting used to making music on a computer, but you can just use them as is if you really want to. Now, one important thing to note about the sound pools is that if you make any tracks with them, you're not allowed to monetize those tracks. You are free to post them and share them all over your social media and that sort of thing. You won't get punished for that, but you aren't allowed to monetize them unless you purchase a commercial license for the sound pool that you used. Magix Music Maker also includes some virtual instruments and effects, including a decent guitar amp sim, and if you use any of those virtual instruments or effects or record anything in, you can monetize your music. It's just those sound pools that you got to be careful with. There is a free version called Magix Music Maker Free, and it has an 8-track limitation, plus you can't bring in any third-party instruments or effects into that version, but you can in the more pro version, and that one can often be found on sale for around $70, and it includes a lot more sounds and instruments with no track limitations or anything like that. Magix Music Maker is available on Windows only. Now, one more option I just want to mention quickly is Garageband. And it comes with your iPhone, iPad, or Mac computer, so it's free, and it can be a great option to quickly start making beats or even recording sounds in. My son figured out how to use it when he was 5 years old without my help. He just started recording into the sampler, launching clips, and adding effects plus virtual instruments that come with it, and he did all of that while in the backseat of my vehicle when I was driving, so I never showed him that program or anything before. He just found it and was able to start working with it. So yes, GarageBand can be a very easy one to start working with, but it is available on iOS or Mac operating systems only. So those are a few music making programs that can be great for EDM and beat creation, but they can also be great for other styles of music. I just find that their workflows are more geared towards EDM and that sort of thing. Now let's look at a couple of programs that have quick modern workflows to them, and they can be great for recording bands and solo musicians, but they can also be great for EDM and beat creators as well. And we'll start with Presonus Studio One. And this is an excellent all-around DAW. It gives you that traditional recording and mixing feel, but it boosts it with a speedy workflow that doesn't interfere with the creative process. It also gives you excellent built-in project organizational tools. If you work on tracks from multiple bands, artists, or just like to keep your projects organized in a unique way, Presonus Studio One allows you to do that. You can use this in pro studios or just have a pro DAW in your home studio. And why I like this one for beginners is because you're going to be learning on a pro DAW. So you learn on this and you can stick with it and you're not going to be missing out on anything. It comes with a great selection of effects and some instruments, and what you get depends on the version that you go with. But all of the versions give you unlimited tracks and the ability to bring in your own third-party plugins, except for Studio One Prime, which is the free offering. It doesn't allow you to bring in any third-party plugins, but that's one of the only limitations, and at the time of recording, Studio One Prime isn't available right now, but it should be back up shortly as they upgrade it to the latest version of Studio One. Other than that free version, Studio One prices start at $99 for the artist version, and it's available on Mac or Windows. Another music making program that has a quick modern workflow is Tracktion Waveform. And you can do everything you need: record, edit, mix, program MIDI, whatever. You can do it all without changing views. It's all available to you right from this one screen. The mixer section is modular, so you can move anything around, including your faders and meters, so you can have effects before and after the faders if you like, and all of your mixing can be done right over on the side of each track. But if you do need that more traditional mixer, you can have the console at the bottom of the screen, but you have access to all of the same stuff over the side on each track. I find the workflow between Waveform and Studio One to be very similar. Both make the music making and mixing process very fast while not getting in the way. There is a free version of Waveform. It's called Waveform Free, and this is a completely unlimited program. So you can have unlimited tracks, bring in your third-party plugins. It's not limiting at all. Now, the Pro version includes some added instruments, effects, plus some time-saving features, but not having any of those things isn't going to limit you. They're just nice extras to have. Although this is a great option for rock and pop styles, Beat makers and EDM producers will find it to be an excellent option as well. The Pro version starts at $149 and sometimes goes on sale for around $70, but you can get started with the free version if you like and go from there. It's available on Mac, Windows, Linux, and even Raspberry Pi. So those are a couple of options with a more modern user interface. Now let's look at some solid options with a more traditional workflow, and we'll start with Avid's Pro Tools. And this one is being used in pro studios for years and years. And they do keep updating it and modernizing it, making things a little more quicker, but it still has that same traditional workflow. It comes with a decent set of effects, and depending on the version that you go with, there's also some decent instruments as well. Now, I've always enjoyed the stock effects that you get with Pro Tools. They sound great and they're easy to use with little CPU power. Now, if you want to bring in your third-party plugins, you can, but Pro Tools uses AAX plugins, not VST. Now, pretty much all of the commercial plugins that you can buy out there, they're going to include an AAX version, but some free ones may not have that AAX option. And what I like about Pro Tools for a beginner is that you're learning on the same software that's being used on thousands and thousands of hit tracks for years. And if you ever plan on working in a pro studio one day, it's a good idea to learn on this software. There is a free version called Pro Tools Intro, and it does have some track limitations like only 8 audio tracks and 8 instrument tracks, plus it includes a small portion of the effects, but what it does include are very useful. Pro Tools is an excellent option for bands or solo musicians making rock, pop, country, or whatever, as you can do beat making and EDM styles in there as well. And if you decide to go beyond the free version, prices start at $10 a month. You can get Pro Tools on Mac or Windows. All right, next up is the Reaper DAW. Now, who Reaper might appeal to is a person wanting to get used to a traditional DAW layout that's similar to Pro Tools, but doesn't want to pay that monthly subscription fee. Reaper can be similar to Pro Tools, but it is powerful and professional enough that you're not going to need Pro Tools. And there are tons of customization options that adjust the workflow and the look to your liking. And if you're a musician or producer that wants to record full bands or more than one person, like a singer-songwriter that records guitar and vocals or piano and vocals at the same time, Reaper can handle that easily. Even if you're an electronic music creator, you can still use Reaper with no problems. However, if your focus is on MIDI and loops and that sort of thing, there might be some better options out there for your workflow. But give Reaper a try and maybe it works for your style, as it can handle MIDI and loops without any problems. Reaper includes a large suite of effects plugins, and you can add your own third-party plugins into it as well. It doesn't include any instruments, but free third-party instruments are easy to find. Reaper is available on Mac, Windows, and Linux, and you can grab a free 60-day trial of Reaper from their website. There's no limitations with their trial, and a full license is just $60. Now, if you like the idea of a feature-packed DAW that has effects and instruments into it, and you'd like all of that to be free, then this might be the DAW for you. This is Cakewalk by Bandlab. Cakewalk has been around for a long time, and this version was formerly known as Sonar, which was the higher end version of Cakewalk, which used to have a premium price tag attached to it. Bandlab purchased the company and have now made this incredible DAW available to everyone for free. There's no upsells or anything like that. You're getting the top tier program. It comes with excellent effects, and every channel has a pro channel strip on it that gives it that old school console style of workflow. You can also bring in third-party VST plugins too if you want. If you like the idea of the Ableton Live session view with the clip launcher that we looked at earlier, Cakewalk has a very similar feature built into it called the Matrix view. So this can be a great option for beat makers and electronic music creators, along with any genre of music. They continually update the program, sometimes adding new features in while taking away any bugs that might pop up. So it's not an abandoned piece of software. You can get Cakewalk on Windows only. So now I've filled your head with all of these options. What might be the best DAW for you as a beginner? Well, I don't recommend downloading just one. I recommend downloading 2 or 3 of them and giving them a really good test drive. So out of all of those ones that I mentioned, pick 2 or 3 that you thought really sounded like they would suit your workflow and style, download them, get used to them, and then whittle it down to one. Chances are one of those programs is going to really speak to you. And when you do find that one program, really get to know it, learn it inside and out. And then it's going to lead to that next question: what's the easiest DAW for you? Well, it's the one that you know how to use. So you're not going to like this answer because all of these programs are going to have a learning curve to them. Music production is not an easy thing. It's something that you're continually learning, and you'll find tips and tricks to help speed up your workflow, and you're going to find things that work better than what you used in the past. It's just a continual process. So there isn't really one easiest DAW to learn. They all are going to have their learning curve to them. And once you learn on one, you can pretty much pick up any of the other ones because a lot of the things are very similar. So pick one, learn that one, and that one is going to be the easiest DAW for you. And in this video, you heard me talk about third-party plugins that you can add to all of these DAWs. And if you're looking for some, click the video on the screen for over 80 free VST plugins that you can grab right now. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And I'm going to do that thing that I do down in the comments. Keep creating. Fist bump. Thumbs up.